Surviving against zombies in Rimworld can be a challenge, but how will you survive when it strikes the cities? Over time, the zombies will become stronger, faster, and grow in size. With rich resources and buildings to hide in, I decided to try it out for myself. Can I survive a zombie apocalypse in a city? In Rimworld. We embark 3 days before the zombies would arrive. I start off by claiming everything in the city, since zombies and raiders can attack the buildings. I find an Eltex robe and an Archotech shield belt allow me to fire rifles even with a shield belt. I go on to eat some fried fish in one of the buildings I came in, and I end up getting cholesterol. Off to a good start, I see, getting some heart diseases early on. My plan is to plunder the city and find what I can salvage to store. I needed everything in my arsenal to fight the zombies. I deconstructed some pillars that I found, since most of my walls were made out of wood. I would use this to cover up some of the middle part of the base. I needed more food, so I found the main food storage in the city, and I started working a lot on the base as well. I find a lot of armor, weapons, and most importantly, medicine for myself. This would come in handy. I also end up finding nuclear stuff in the city. What government doesn't have nuclear weapons? I found even more stuff for my base, but then later I decided I would need a pet to help me in the future. So with an item that can tame a pet, I used it on this hound. First attempt was a failure, but the second one was a success. It was an advanced pet, meaning I could ride it. I hauled back all my food in one spot, so I had to make 2 freezers to keep the food from spoiling. As I was hauling back my stuff from the base, 3 days have already passed and the zombies were here. A tank zombie in particular deals the most damage, and I only had a melee weapon, so I didn't want to take my risks. After all, one bite could turn me into a zombie. In the bottom right of the corner was this mega base that I could use. It had a lot of choke points, meaning I could run freely around. After that, some raiders decided they wanted to plunder this place. Too bad they died to zombies just a little bit later. A bit earlier, I had found that one of these buildings were actually an ancient danger. When I open it up, I see 2 lancers. Knowing I had an Archotech shield belt, meaning I couldn't get hurt by the lancers, I had a plan. I decided to get whatever was in the hermetic crate, and then I decided to open up the tomb. I would like to see what gear I could get. There was only 1 lancer and 1 enemy left, so with my persona Zeus hammer, I decided to scar them. Purple here took quite a few hits from Valley, which is me. She dies, and then I end up stripping down people I didn't want to recruit. There was only 1 guy I wanted to recruit. So I stabilized him and took him to a bed where I tended to his wounds. He had dermaplating in his torso, meaning he had extra protection and 50 more health in that body part. A guy from the tomb was wounded here, so I decided to take him in and strip him. Finally, a ranged weapon. I equipped the EUMP, but then I realized I made a mistake. Bodies here with a brain will turn into zombies. Before I could do anything, I got a trade caravan. Unluckily for me, I couldn't trade with them, since I would be risking my life. They ended up ignoring the zombies at first, but then later, most of the zombies got to them. The corpses in the tomb were rotting and they turned into zombies, so I decided to take care of it. When you get too close to a wall where zombies are, they will often attack the wall. This meant I needed embrasures to kill them from the inside. After every night and every morning, zombies would be in my walls, so I had to take care of them. When I initially got here, I decided to coexist with this tusk beast, but knowing it was a predator, I could be killed by it at any second, so I decided to kill it first. Since I was using combat extended, I needed a new weapon with new ammo, so I decided to go for the 2 charge rifles and power helmet I found earlier. After that, I needed a new power grid for my home, since the one in the city connects to every single power cable, and that wasn't efficient. I got a quest for a paralytic survivor. Not knowing that he would land on the other side of the map, I let him die. I spent most of my days just repairing the walls and fortifying my base. So far, everything was stable enough. Just clearing zombies and checking my wealth was some of the things I did in the calmer days. I ended up finding an item which would allow me to resurrect if I cooked this item into food and ate it. Let's see if I would remember this. The nights were dark as my solar panels went out and I had no batteries to support the base. The nights were long and dark. Tanker zombies directly target your doors and walls, so I had to kill them off before they got to me. More zombies started to come for me. So far it wasn't too bad, but I noticed an increase in the zombies against my wall. They just came rushing in, so I had to block this with a wall. These zombies had gathered up in the tunnel next to me. Who knew where they were planning? The zombies started burning up the walls, causing smoke in some buildings, and overall just destroying the cities. My prisoner was addicted to psychite, so he decided to consume some yayo. There is a zombie called the albino zombie. This zombie will open up doors and disable buildings and such. They were very fast and hard to kill. I needed more supplies for my base, but I didn't realize that zombies would attack animals, causing them to go manhunter. This almost led to my demise. I was focusing too much on the base when I realized that a tanker zombie had broken down 2 of my walls and was about to kill my prisoner. Luckily, he had thermal plating in his torso, allowing him to survive. I patched up the entrance, but then something horrible happened. There had to be a raid right next to my base. How would this go? They drew the zombies' attention and slaughtered all of them. Next up, they broke into the right corner of my base with a siege hammer. My prisoner unfortunately passed away. When he was dead, they came for me, so I decided to run and take some cover, equipping the UMP. I ran back to the left side of the base, running behind cover behind a pillar. I opened fire on most of them, but unfortunately their numbers were too great for me to handle. They focused on stealing and exploding my base up, setting me up for future failure. The raiders had decided to steal most of my items. I went to defend my precious items, but there were way too many and I had to reload. I ended up killing about 10 raiders, but with so much wealth, there were just so many of them. I noticed a young fellow trying to find his way out. Instead of just looking to his left, he decides to mine out. With this stupidity, I decided to end him. You know when you get hurt and starts bleeding, that isn't the initial problem. It's all the bacteria trying to get in that will cause the most trouble. This is the same thing here, but with the zombies. I had to cover up the wall quickly. A big zombie horde was coming for me, slowly but surely. I then get a quest for 5 prisoners. You know how cruel I am to leave them out here in the open? Too bad for them. The zombie horde from earlier had come here. Luckily there were 3 elephants to help defend me. The prisoners are doing just fine for now. One of my prisoners had gotten berserk, so unfortunately I had to put him down, but I ended up killing him. Food was running low, I couldn't feed him anymore. The albino zombies had started to open up doors for the zombies. Not only that, but the zombies had gotten stronger and faster at this point. Zombies now took more bullets to kill, and so I just ended up equipping the forehammer. I had enough armor to not get hit often. 1 zombie entered my house, and then it became 2 zombies and 4 zombies. When would it end? There were a lot of zombies against my wall now, but I made one big mistake. As I was reloading, a zombie had opened the door and another one had stormed right in. I told you they were fast. I got bit in the right arm. I had to tend with this with Glitter World medicine at least. So I uninstalled the wall and made my way up. I needed to kill them fast. The albino zombie will sometimes scream, and if you get into its orb, it will stun you for a while. This led to some hits on me. I had to run. More zombies were coming. I had to kill the ones inside, and I had to tend to my wounds. I get to my forehammer again, but the zombies were right behind me. They were so fast I couldn't outrun them. 2 toxic splasher zombies and an albino zombie had stunned me. I was getting hit often, and I just had to keep on running. I thought I could tend to my wounds here, but of course there was an albino zombie that opened up the door. I tried to uninstall this wall so I can run into the ancient tomb, but there was a zombie, so I had to kill it first. The electrocuting zombies had electric circle around them. It was getting bigger and it caught everything on fire. My base was burning down. I got into the nuclear room. I got caught by 2 albino zombies, leaving me in a stunned state for a very long time. Eventually, every single zombie in the area had been notified of my presence. They were all running towards me. Heard in the places, they tried to attack me. The whole map was burning now. Electrocuting zombies would ruin the map. How could I survive this? I had gotten notified that in 12 hours I would become a zombie, unless I could safely get to the ancient tomb where I can succumb myself. The shining eyes of the zombies would empower me, and I tried to uninstall this wall so I can run out to the streets. But even the streets were filled with zombies. 300 zombies on the map. I got downed, eaten alive, and eventually I died. Succumbed to nothing. I was now in the zombies' bellies. Thank you all for watching, subscribe and like if you do, and thanks for my Patreons for supporting me. Bye.